I tell you, it's still weird for me when I land in an airplane. That is one thing that was like I didn't expect. So when I was in the Army, I was airborne, and so I have over 100 jumps. But then on the civilian side, when an airplane lands, I'm just like, oh, this is a weird sensation to be in a landing aircraft. And it's really odd. It's just an odd.
Yeah, because most time you go up, you're jumping out about, what, 10,000 feet up, 20,000 feet up?
Oh, yeah. And you normally have to pee really bad. And I will tell you, I made up my mind that before I got out of the military, I was going to pee while I was falling. And I did have pulled
Fuck yeah.
pissed while I was falling.
Did it blow all over you?
No, it didn't. I was expecting it to make a mess, and it was a pretty clear stream for 4 or 5 feet.
Welcome to the podcast, Ross Harris.
Yeah, everybody.
Being in the 30,000 feet.
Thank you for coming onto the show, Ross.
Mm-hmm. And congratulations, you won your preliminary round.
I did.
You earned your way to the podcast.
Earn this spot. If you want to see his last roast battle, check out the last roast battle from September. He competed against Marcus and eviscerated him.
Yeah, Marcus Jones, I tell you, he's a really good friend of mine, and he definitely didn't show up to play. So,
well, he was, love him to death. But he did say at open mic like a couple weeks ago, he was like, I'm just going to wing it, man. I'm just going to wing it.
And we were both like, no, do not do that.
We were like, as the producers of the show, please don't wing it.
Please prepare. Please write. Please do fucking something.
Right.
Yeah. And again, he's a fucking amazing comedian.
He's very funny.
He's got his own style, and the audience loves him. And
very likable.
Very likable. Very likable. And I don't get that. I feel like I'm a very unlikable guy. My 23andMe came back as the problem. So wow. I'm pretty, I've got a lot of things against me when it comes to stand-up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I definitely understand.
Yeah.
I can't see that you being unlikable, though. I don't
know. I mean, I like you. I mean, I've liked you since I met you.
But there is something about being a very handsome person and going up on stage, like already being attractive. It's like, you don't even need to be funny. What are you doing?
Yeah, I get that all the time, man. You know how it is. Just being this sexy, you go up. People are like, oh, he's funny too. Fuck him.
Oh, man, that's a handicap. I feel like it's a handicap. I mean, at this point in my career, I've been modeling and acting for a while. I've gotten to the point where I can publicly admit that I know that I'm at least not unattractive. And I will say it does feel like as a white man, it does get pretty difficult when it's obvious that people know that you know. Does that make sense? Because, I mean, professionally. So, like, getting paid to be hot is sort of one of the things that I do. And it just makes it a little more difficult when I go on stage. And I think that when I start incorporating that into my act, Matt Rife does a great job of this. Mm-hmm. Matt Rife does a phenomenal job of being like, oh, this jawline. I think he said I couldn't even kill myself because it would cut the noose kind of thing. And it's like, okay, I got to come up with jokes like that because I have such a low opinion of myself. I really do. And that was ingrained in me from not just childhood, but from the military. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got to think you're less than dirt if you're going to run into bullets. I mean, you've got to have zero value for your own life if you're going to run towards enemy fire. And so I really don't have that. I don't think I have that lofty of an opinion of myself. So I don't think about combating those things. But when I talk to audience members after the fact who are willing to be candid, they will tell me, like, I think you need to address the fact that you're, because one time someone in the audience said, you look like a model. And that threw me off. Like, I was like, fuck, what do? I forgot my next joke because I was like, oh no, what if they think I'm sexy? What am I going to do?
Right.
And that's such a dumb thing to worry about. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Man, when they yell at me, I just hit them with the next joke. Like, yeah, I know I'm a model. Mm-hmm. I know I look like this, but you're going to have to listen to jokes tonight, okay? Close your eyes. Right. You're just going to have to listen to this voice. And I know this voice doesn't sound right coming out of this super sexy, appealing,
I know
Adonis figure that I have.
You're not giving your voice enough credit, dude. But the country accent is a dying thing. I'm pretty sure if you hang on to that accent, that's going to be niche.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, how many comedians right now are how many big comedians right now are doing that accent? Not many.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess depends on what your country accent is. I've been around it so long that, like, when I hear it, I don't even think about it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure I have a country accent, and like I don't like.
You would be wrong.
I don't feel like I. good.
Yeah, but to somebody like from New York, you would like somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
From,
like when I would play D&D online, people would be like, "You got a fucking country accent." Like, do I? I think it just comes out, but I don't know. I think you may be right. I don't know if there are very many.
Mine definitely comes out when I drink, and Ross was very kind enough to bring a bottle of scotch, so it'll probably come out a little bit on this one.
That was very kind of you.
Well, hey, look, I do want to start off the show. I really do want to extend to you guys my sincere gratitude being on this show. One of the early episodes. What is episode 13? Is that what
this is episode 17?
17.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers are hard for me. So
Same.
episode 17. Look, I know that 500, 600 episodes in, I'm going to be able to say like I was one of the first people on this show because you guys, if you're watching this, two of the hardest working comedians I've ever met. And
appreciate that, man.
The hard work that goes into what we do is not what most people consider hard work. It really is believing not only in yourself but believing in others and being disappointed over and over and over again. The hard work is putting aside the times that other people didn't believe in you as much as you believed in them. And you guys both in this area have such an incredible way of lifting others up, being humble, and it's truly an honor to be here, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, man. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind.
So, yeah, if you guys want to have a little bit more of this scotch, maybe we can fuck after. That'd be great.
My God.
Yeah.
You ain't that good looking.
You don't need that much scotch. I mean, yeah, you're not that much good looking.
I thought I had game.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
All right, let's get into this. Ross, where are you originally from? Because like what this show is we're supposed to be here getting to know Ross because at the end of the month we're all going to roast the shit out of him. Okay, he's coming for this belt right here, which I happened to win last Monday
took from Big Dre.
Fuck yeah, I did.
Last month against all odds.
Yeah, it's great because he has awful back problems, so it really supports him a lot.
Really helps me.
Which
out.
I think
it's because of
Dre
the
can
giant
admit.
dick. That's.
Bear came prepared, man. Bear came
the
prepared.
giant 2-inch wiener. Okay.
So do you tuck it in there?
It's not long enough.
In the belt?
No.
The giant. You said 2-inch wiener.
Yeah.
Numbers are hard. I said that already.
You were infantry, right? Like, I get it.
Yeah,
I got some crayons if you're hungry.
Oh, yeah. They call it infantry for a reason. I got baby IQ, dude.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Where are you from?
I was born in Little Rock, actually, here at Baptist Hospital.
No shit.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
cool.
Graduated from Parkview High School. Went to UCA for a semester, and I always wanted to be an Army Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I joined the military, and the rest is history that we're going to unfold, I guess.
So how old were you when you joined the military?
I was 20 when I joined the military, and they actually didn't have a Ranger contract available when I joined the military, so I joined as what's called an 18 X-ray, which is Special Forces. So I went in, did basic training, and then I did a pre-selection course.
Let me translate something for Seth real quick. What they do to new recruits is they'll say, "Oh, you want to," because everybody wants to be Special Forces,
right?
But like, not very many people can do what Special Forces do.
Because I was just thinking, like, how did you like straight up go right to?
So here's what they do.
Right program.
They'll make you 18 X-ray. You have to go through basic and AIT. And then you get sent to select. I think you may have to go to airborne school first.
Yes.
You got to go airborne first.
And at any given point, they're going to be like, no, did you suck?
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say.
You can't
the
do
second you don't pass one of these schools as far as making it up to selection, they're like, all right, now you're 11 Bravo. Now you're just another fucking infantryman. Get out there and start fucking humping.
Right.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen to you?
Well, I got through basic airborne or basic AIT airborne, and then I went to pre-selection, and then I went to SFAS, which is Special Forces Selection Assessment. They call it the school for what SFAS? Fucking letters too. Letters get me. Letters, numbers. The school.
Military's not good.
The school for advanced. School for Advanced Suffering is like the joke name. And so I actually got selected, and then I did 6 months of Arabic, and then. So that's what I got away from it. Oh, wow. And then when I was in SUT, which is their small unit tactics, I got food poisoning and got really sick. And I actually passed my patrols, but I was dropped eventually because of that. I didn't get to go to SEER school, which is...
Was it MREs?
That's all we had. And I mean, they diagnosed me with food poisoning because something about my low temperature. I don't know. So there was an 18 Delta, which is a Special Forces medic. A Special Forces medic assessed me and was like, dude, you have food poisoning. So they kept me on IV and stuff for a couple of days, and they put me back out in the field. And so I was out of my mind, sick the whole time, and it just didn't go well.
I see.
So then after that, after they dropped me, I went to Ranger selection to RASP, and I was selected for that. And so I went to 2nd Ranger Battalion, and I was in Ranger Bat for 2 deployments to Afghanistan. And then after that, I became I went to the 82nd Airborne, where I was a squad leader for a few years, and then I was a marksmanship instructor. I got really heavy into competitive shooting, and I won top shot at the All-American Small Arms competition 3 years in a row. And so I was somewhat recruited to go they stood up a new school called MMTC, Marksmanship Master Trainer course. And so I actually was the top instructor at the Marksmanship Master Trainer course for a little bit, and that was where I ended my military career. I got out after my marriage failed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and came back home to be a dad.
So it sounded like you always wanted to be in the Army. Is that correct? You
Yes.
always wanted to be a Ranger?
Yeah.
So why'd you get out?
To be with my children.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when my ex-wife left and took my kids, I had a choice to continue to pursue, because my selection was still good for SF. Like I could still go back and finish the
Right,
course.
because if you dropped out from a medical issue, you could recycle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it worked out enough to where my deployment time, they calculate the amount of time that you spent in Afghanistan, and said, okay, as long as you only have been away from the course for 2 years or however long, you can come back and pick up where you left off and finish the course. And I kept up my Arabic pretty well, and so I passed the language exam to be able to go back. And I was going to go back and do SF, and then my marriage crumbled, and she came back here to Arkansas, took my kids with her, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go be a dad. I mean, my children are everything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what a lot of people don't realize, especially if you're going to SF. You think it's like a meathead, like who's the strongest, who's the fastest, who's you've also got to be the fucking smartest, because you've got to learn another fucking language, because a lot of what SF does is go into places and train, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but and train indigenous forces to fight whatever conflict they're in.
Correct.
And so you have to speak their language and problem solve, because they don't send you in with like a huge amount of gear and a team to do this with. Like, you have to use the resources that you're there with. And so it's a lot of big brain, like...
Yeah, when I think of a Ranger, that's what I'm trying to, like... I'm really in my head of...
Well, Ranger and SF are two different things.
Smart like tractor, strong like bull.
Right. Well, I'm thinking of, Buzz Lightyear.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Aragorn.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I want to be Strider so bad.
Fucking... Who else is a Ranger? There's so many Rangers. Like
Chuck Norris. That's the only one you need to know about. That's actually why I wanted to join the military.
Because of Chuck Norris?
Oh, man. My mom, I tell you, Walker, Texas Ranger was on every single night. Every single time it was on, my mom was excited about it. And it was an ironic
we
viewing.
watched Walker religiously.
Yeah.
I watched it a lot as a kid, yeah.
That's where Rangers gonna be.
God damn, that's such a good... That's like one of the top 10 intro songs.
Yeah, it's a great intro song.
Yes,
That's a
it
bop.
is.
Fuck yeah, it
The
is.
eyes of a ranger, the unsuspecting stranger. Dude, that's you. You're the Ranger. That's badass, dude.
That is badass.
I've never... Like, you can't name a Ranger from fiction, science fiction, nonfiction that isn't just a badass. Like, it's just... But what is a Ranger? Is it like a shooting thing? Is it like a title because it's like a ranged thing?
So Ranger Regiment is a special operations infantry unit. So there's a lot of different units. You have like engineer units, you have medical units, and you've got infantry units. So it at its core, it's an infantry unit. Now there are support roles. You have supply, you have mechanics, you have a lot of people that need to go. You have to be selected in RASP, which is Ranger Assessment and Selection. You have to be selected to go to this unit, and regardless of MOS, which is your job title. So I was an infantryman, and those are the door kickers, face shooters, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But you have to be, everybody in the unit has to be airborne. Even if you're a wrench turner, you got to be able to jump out of airplanes. You got to be able to pass. You have to be able to get a secret security clearance, or in my case, I had a top secret security clearance. You have to be able to pass all of those metrics. And then we deploy in conjunction with, so anytime that we would go out on a raid, we would have our Navy EOD, which is special operations. We would have a couple different PSYOPs handlers.
EOD is ordnance. So if there's any type of like IED or anything that needs to be disarmed, diffused, anything like that, that's what EOD does.
Right. So for instance, landslide is what we would call if we entered a compound building or a room and we saw wires or something set up, like trip wires for what's called an HBID, a houseborne IED, we would call landslide. Everybody get the fuck out. This place is going to blow. First room I ever cleared when I was in Afghanistan. I was the number one man. I go in, wires everywhere.
And you're the point man.
Literally everywhere. No one, I got to my first corner, I turned, wires. Fucking landslide. I didn't say fucking, I said landslide. I got out, and then my squad leader smacked me over the head and was like, the fuck was that? And I was like, there's fucking wires. He's like, there's wires in every room. And it's because they use car batteries and they'll hook up their lights to it.
Oh, I see.
And so it's like, I was like, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Right.
Like, everything that we trained on is the fucking call landslide for wires. And he was like, dude, if it's a bomb, you're going to die. Just get over it. Just go in the room, clear the room, just get over it. And so, like
fuck yeah.
First guy I ever killed. The first guy I ever killed, I shot him, and then we go up to clear the body, and he's got like 3 grenades and a few hand grenades, or a few magazines and a tourniquet and all sorts of, I'm pulling these hand grenades out one at a time, like we're gonna lay it out, take a photo, and then I pull the 3rd hand grenade out and the spoon falls off. And if you don't know, the spoon, when that comes off, that is what ignites the fuse. So I was like, fuck, this is booby trapped. So I threw it over into this big pile of mud, and I was like, frag out. I called frag out. We all got down. Nothing happened. And so I go over and look for it, and I was like rooting around. It was dark because we were under nods, and I'm like reaching around in this big pile of mud, and I start smelling something. And I look over, and I'm like, there's a hole in the wall of the compound that I threw it in, and it's like this big pile of shit. I had just been digging through a pile of human shit.
God.
There's human shit everywhere in Afghanistan. And so I'm like, I'm actually glad the grenade didn't go off. Showers. But
shrapnel and an infection.
Yeah, man, it's just like, and my squad leader was like, "What the fuck was that?" And he smacked me over the head. What the fuck? And he's like, if it's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up. Just deal with it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Just hold it.
Yeah.
What does that mean? If you're gonna, hey, listen, if it's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up. Wait for it.
Right, exactly. Like, just fucking die. And now I get it. Like,
die,
Ross.
I'm ready for it.
I understand that we're not in a unit together, but I want you to know, if we're ever in a situation like that and you find a grenade that you feel like is live and is primed and is ready to go, you have my permission to throw that thing as far the fuck away from me as you possibly can.
Yes.
Like, that's a good call.
I wish I'd thrown it farther, honestly. It would have gotten out of the shit. Because, I mean, to be honest, if it had gone off, I still might have gotten peppered with something. But to answer your question,
shit.
What is a Ranger? It's a special operations unit that works in conjunction with a lot of other people. And when we would go out on missions, we would take the Afghan special forces. They'd watch us conduct our raids, and they would be a part of it. Usually they were kind of in the trail, and they did a lot of our interpreting and stuff like that for us. And we would be like, look, this is how you do SSE, sensitive site exploitation. You look for cell phones. You look for like how to search people, how to pull, like, we just teach their special forces all sorts of stuff. And we would usually go out with the CST, cultural support teams, which are the women. So we would have 2 CST usually with us that are the women. So at the time when I was in Ranger Regiment, they didn't have women in special operations. And they would be the ones who would search the women, because usually we would find, not usually, sometimes we would find SIM cards like stashed up inside women and stuff like that.
Oh, I see.
So they'd have to go in and, like, if we didn't find the SIM card or whatever it was we were looking for, CST would start fingering coochies.
Get the SIM card.
Hey, I know it's here somewhere. You better spread them.
Yep.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Gotta use that weird tool from the iPhone, you know?
So al-Baghdadi, are you familiar with the name al-Baghdadi?
That's al-Baghdadi. That's
Yes.
Shane Gillis has that.
al-Baghdadi.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got that bit on Beautiful Dogs about him.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So al-Baghdadi was the number 1 most wanted terrorist in the world at one point. My platoon was on that raid. So we do those types of high-value target raids.
Beautiful Dogs.
Al-Baghdadi.
I wasn't on that mission, for the record, but I'm proud of you boys.
Fuck yeah. Proud
for
of
What's
you.
the name of the guy?
275.
He says his name. Is that the same one where he says the guy's name really strange? Trump.
He died like a dog.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Al Abdul Jabbar.
That guy.
Kareem Abdul Jabbar.
Let me tell you, man.
He died like a dog.
Some of the most, speaking of dogs, one of the most underrated part of our, like all of our assets, everything that we bring to bear on a mission, those dogs, man.
Our military's canine?
Our military's canine unit, man. So Ranger Regiment, we have our own in-house dog.
Rangers
handlers.
are known for their beast companionship.
Yeah, yeah.
You had
in D&D.
Yeah.
My
y'all have
D&D
Belgians?
character is a eunuch, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
I can't afford therapy, so I figured that would be a good way of me trying to figure out how to live life not being ruled by my cock.
Is he a monk?
No, actually, he's a ranger.
A ranger
Yeah,
eunuch?
He's a ranger eunuch.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened?
You know, I haven't come up with that much of a backstory. I've only ever been invited to one D&D. What do you call
he
it?
showed up as the Ranger eunuch, and they're like, "This fucking nerd can't come back." God damn.
We didn't.
He
even
looks
know
like that, and he's not fucking. Are you shitting
Listen,
me?
I've only played Baldur's Gate 3, and genital creation was a big part of that. So I spent a long time on that. Is that not something? Is that not real?
Oh my god.
Man, that's crazy. So when did you? So military for how many years?
I was in the Army from 2010 to 2020. One year, the last year of that was in the National Guard. I was in 19th Special Forces Group, preparing to go back to finish the Q course out of Rhode Island.
Well, thank you for your service. I don't know if I've told you that ever.
You're very welcome.
But I
and
appreciate
Bear,
you.
thank you for yours.
Yeah, Bear.
Seriously,
You shut the fuck up.
don't
Shut
thank
the
you for
fuck
those
up.
don't
weekends.
try to make this a pissing contest.
It's
dude.
not a pissing contest. You win. Like I never
service,
told.
service.
Like this is not a pissing
Oh,
contest.
see, that's the thing. In the military,
dream
I
is-
feel so much like anybody who thinks that what you do is more badass is just not privy to the fact that you've had to, like, you literally have to be a way bigger shit eater. Like, it's just eating shit
All day.
You just eat so much shit. Turd sandwiches.
When did
man.
you get?
It's best when it's got a little corn in it because you're like, oh, hey, there's some nutrients.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
you
it's
know?
a texture thing,
right.
really. Yeah.
It's not slimy. Oh, I know what corn is. This is almost
Right.
like food.
I can't imagine why you got food poisoning. I feel like it makes sense now. So after the military, how long before you transitioned into a stand-up comedian? When did you get that procedure done?
Well, I had my first ever stand-up experience. I was on a cruise ship. I had a sugar mama at the time, actually, who brought me on a cruise to Greece.
Is this post-military?
Post-military.
During the military? Okay.
Post-military. I had a sugar mama. Shout out. Actually, she's mean to me. So she hurt my feelings
She
so
knows
bad.
who she is, though.
She hurt my
Hold
feelings
on,
so
hold on.
bad.
I want to get into the story, but how'd your sugar mama hurt your
Damn it,
feelings?
Tina.
Well, she told me that I wasn't pulling my weight because I wasn't having sex with her. So that's kind of that.
Well, you
Yeah.
son of a
Well,
bitch.
if she buys a trip to Greece, man, you got to put out. I mean, them's the
She
rules.
kept and not all the cats. Greece has so many stray cats, and she'd be like, "Come here, kitty," all the time. And I was just like, "This woman is crazy."
You're not touching my cock with those hands.
I couldn't get hard. I couldn't get hard for a crazy cat lady. I just
Oh,
couldn't.
no.
do it. I couldn't.
I have brother, I can.
Your loss.
But so we were on a cruise in Greece. There was a stand-up comedian, piano player. His name's Justin Golan, who's actually a world-class beatboxer. Justin Golan, and he had to go pee. He was doing his set, and he was like, "Hey," like he and I had become friends throughout the course of the cruise. I think it was a 9-day cruise, and he was like, "Ross, come up here on stage while I go to the bathroom and just tell some jokes." He had some jokes written out on his iPad.
Wow.
And
So you're going up there telling his jokes.
I went up there telling his jokes, and it was, I mean, it went about as well as you think it would go.
Yeah.
I did make one really good joke about how, I asked for a volunteer. I was like, I need a volunteer from the audience when Justin comes back. This seems like his third pee break. Do you mind sticking a finger up there and checking his prostate?
Nice.
And that went
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
That went well. I was a marksmanship instructor in the Army for about 3 years of my career. And
So you had some experience
right.
in front of a crowd.
Yes, I had some stage time in that respect, and I mean, I was used to speaking to. So part of what we did was we wrote the new doctrine for the pistol and the rifle about the shot process, like the .9, which is the manual that everyone uses in order to train marksmanship. We were rewriting the .9, and when we would come up with updates to the information, we had to brief congressmen, generals, anybody who was coming into town on what it was that we were up to at our school. So I had quite a bit of experience speaking to high-ranking officials, and I knew how to position myself on stage to be able to look professional. And so that did bode well for me. And I had also been on a show called Finding Magic Mike on HBO.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna get into
So
that.
this was after that show, which is actually where I met the Sugar Mama, was on the show. She had been an extra on the show. And and so I had camera time, I had stage time. So by the time that I was asked to go up on stage and tell jokes, I wasn't at least pissing my pants. I wasn't very funny, but I at least knew how to engage the audience, make eye contact, move around, like use the space, that kind of thing. And so, and from there, I just really love performing. I've been a musician my whole life. I sing, I play a lot of different instruments, and so it's a natural progression. And as my life gets more and more sad, I think that I have more and more of an inclination to lean towards comedy.
So did you catch the bug that set? Like, was like, okay, I got to do this again?
Yes.
Absolutely. Cool.
Absolutely. Partly because I got to tell you, Justin Golan, he has such a beautiful way of making a crowd do whatever he wants to do, but through comedy. He's an incredible musician, adequate singer, incredible beatboxer, and just a great comedian. And I had so much respect for him. The way that he was interpersonally, it's not fake, it's not contrived, it's real, authentic, in the moment. And you watch stand-up comedians and you think, man, their crowd work's so good, oh my gosh. And it's really not that. It's not that they've practiced crowd work. They've practiced being in the moment, being genuine, connecting with the audience, connecting with the individual. And it makes me a better father. It makes me a better son. It makes me a better salesman in my professional life, all sorts of different things. I just think comedy has been such an amazing tool for me to combat the darkness, but also to connect with the people that I love and the people that I hope to inspire.
I got you. You were talking about connecting with your darkness. Where do you think your darkness is? Because I wrote out a list of questions that I want to ask you, and we may not get through all of these. But one thing I'd like to start with is what is your childhood trauma? Like, where do your scars come from early on?
So I was raised very Christian, and that is a great question, by the way. I was raised very Christian. I did mission trips to Nicaragua and the Appalachian Mountains where people give their put Mountain Dew in baby bottles, and I thought I was changing the world. And it just a lot of shame based with that. Like when I got caught watching porn, like everybody does eventually.
You got caught? A fucking dork.
Well, so I hadn't got my top secret security clearance yet, so I didn't know how to be sneaky.
Yeah.
And I mean, the pastor of my church showed up to my house and did basically like an exorcism on me for this porn watching, you know what I mean? And so
that's a grown man looking you in the eyes, just lying like, hey, I don't do this, nobody else does this, you've got a problem.
Man, and I got to tell you,
just lying to your fucking face.
Man, it really was. And I could see in his face that he was like, I really can't judge you. Like, I don't feel this, but this is
I condemn you, devil.
Right.
What site were you on? Like, where'd you get that? That was the great vid. Where'd you get that? Send me a link.
Man, I'm just glad that my parents didn't catch me watching what I watch now. You know what I'm saying?
Fair point. Man. Okay, what's the most embarrassing porn you watch now? We got to know that now.
Yeah. What I
What's
had
the most
access to-
embarrassing?
I actually don't watch a lot of porn now. That was really for the joke. But let me think. Most embarrassing porn I watch
Ever.
now.
Because
I like romantic shit. I like romantic stuff. Like I will watch a couple minutes of like the build up, and then turn it off and just kind of do my own thing.
Dude, I was single for 4 years, and when I was in Los Angeles, I was like as single as could be. Nobody wanted anything to do with me, and I would go to Pornhub and type in love. I would just type in LOVE.
Oh my god, I just want to feel something,
and just like, please like. I just want to see somebody who likes me.
Right?
Like,
What is it like?
Right.
What is love like? Oh my god, I can pretend.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
That's a dark time. It was a real dark time.
Oh my god, look, we've been through COVID. I'm pretty sure there's there's nobody that could ever watch this and be like, oh, those fucking idiots. We all went through COVID. Everybody's watched porn.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. You either were very lonely during COVID or got someone pregnant.
Man, I went through a lot of new skin. Are you familiar with new skin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is new skin?
New skin, like if you get like blisters on your feet or something like that, it helps create like a protective layer over your skin.
Gotcha.
It's great if you've got road rash from masturbating.
Okay.
Yeah.
I use very moisturizing and healing lubricants. So
I was
never
kidding.
Gonna happen to me. It's never gonna happen. No, what? Okay, so this is a wild story. One time, when my sister moved out of her room, she went to college. She had satellite in her room, and I didn't in my room. So I was watching TV in her room. She's at college, and Jennifer Love Hewitt comes on. I think it was like Heartbreakers, and I was like, all right. And so I reach over for some lotion, and I grabbed a bottle of Nair. That's not lotion, I found out.
Oh my god!
I found out that day.
You rub that shit in your pores. You got that shit in there deep.
Oh yeah. Oh my! I finished because I'm a champion. I did.
It feels so good it burns.
Yeah, I was like wild. Yeah, it really opened up a lot of things. I found out a lot about myself that day.
Yeah.
But Jennifer Love Hewitt's a good choice.
Oh yeah, especially like early 2000s.
You were trying to go for J-Lo. I see
was
where
like
you're going.
J-Lo, but this
J-Love. J-Love.
JL Hugh.
Yeah.
J Hugh. Either way, I found out what I found out. I learned a lot. What Nair is, what its purposes are, and that your penis takes quite a while to heal.
Why
that was
did
before
your
Tide
sister
Pods.
have Nair on the nightstand?
It wasn't
Is she got like a bush out of control that she's got like every night? She's like, no, fight it back.
It was
what
like
the
it was
fuck?
like her vanity or something. I had to walk across the room to get it.
Oh, okay.
I did like search around, and I was like, "Ooh, this one smells good." So it's like, this is the one.
I love that you're going for like an aromatic experience. Like you're really trying to treat
I
yourself.
was like, I feel like this smells like J Hugh.
Like you went into that thinking this is gonna be a really cathartic experience.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do some healing with this rub out, and it just really went the opposite way.
The opposite happened of healing. In fact, the healing took about 3 weeks.
Did you
Wow.
get chemical burns?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd say an eighth of my dick was burnt.
oh
that day.
man.
An eighth, a solid eighth. Yeah.
So like quarter an inch.
yeah.
Quarter,
Yeah, I'd say like 1 inch.
Well, he's got a small dick. Great joke, Ross.
One whole.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, Seth just answered this question, so I'm going to ask you, Ross. Now, what's the dumbest thing you did in your 20s?
Get married.
Get married?
Get fucking married. Got married in my 20s.
Amen.
And that I'm doing this for posterity because I hope my son never watches this. However, if you are watching this, Wes, in the future, don't get married in your 20s. I mean, don't get married ever, but if you're going to do it, definitely don't do it in your 20s. It was just I hadn't figured out who the fuck I was. I was going on deployments at the time.
Right.
And I wasn't ready for that kind of thing.
Right.
And I put that girl through hell, and it just,
Imagine how much more money you'd have.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to because then I'll probably cry right here on the show, actually. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to make you cry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Liquid will leave your body before you leave this house.
Some kind of fluid's coming out, but it probably won't be tears.
Imagine. I wouldn't be sitting here if I had all that money, though, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. I wouldn't either if I had all your money. Oh man. Okay, so that was like the first inkling, the first taste of stand up was the cruise, right?
Yes.
How long was the in between from that taste before you finally went to an open mic, and where was your first open mic?
Okay, so I would say that was September of 2021,
very specific.
around when I did the cruise.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
Still kind of pandemic-y.
yeah, and so it was right after they lifted regulations
Right.
from the pandemic. And I would say it was, well, so immediately after that, or almost immediately after that, my youngest son, Will, was diagnosed with leukemia. So I took a pretty big break from doing anything public for quite a while. And as soon as after he passed away,
Spoiler alert, he didn't make it.
February of 2023 was when Will died. And once I went through my process of grief and healing, which is a continuous process, but once I got to the point where, so I had made up my mind that I wanted to do something in entertainment. I went on the show. I love performing. My sons love when I perform. When Will was in the hospital, I would bring my guitar in there. He'd sit in my guitar case and I would sing and play for him and dance around with him, and he loved it.
That's fucking adorable.
Yeah.
And so sad.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
And my son Wes has just always had this draw towards comedy, and I've noticed that when I really lean into that side of myself, being a performer, making jokes, those are the things that really brought out the healing in my son and in myself. It really makes, I mean, you go through things in life where it's just like, how can the world be this way? And then you make a joke about it, and it helps you compartmentalize it. And it's like, you don't have to accept that the world is that way. You can reject that the world is that way.
Right.
And
in a world where you have so little
delusion.
Control, comedy is a way to have a little bit of control.
Well, I would say it's a great way to, like I said, it's a great way to live in delusion. It really is a delusional way of thinking, to think, oh, that's just a fucking joke. Like, oh, we're going to laugh it off.
Right.
Where it can be something benign, or it can be something really heavy. It can be something like a dead baby joke. Like I've tried writing some dead baby jokes. None of them have come out good enough to put on stage yet, but I'm working on it. And those are things that I've connected with people on such a beautiful level.
Yeah.
That it's allowed me to heal myself. Other people, when they see, like, I can connect with them. Like, look, I've experienced loss and hurt and grief in ways that cripple and crumble 10-year seasoned special operations veteran. Like, it's not lost on me that I'm what most people would consider to be pretty badass. Like, I mean, by societal standards, I'm a tough, hardened guy. Grew up country and then joined the military, killed people and deploy, all that stuff. And the loss of a child is just, it's not, it is outside of what anybody could consider to be bearable.
Yeah.
It's unbearable. And
I mean, there's people that would rather die first.
Oh yeah.
Before seeing.
Oh man.
I mean, I would.
The number of times.
Yeah, I would rather die.
The number of times that I begged my higher power to take my life instead of my son's, like, I can't count it. And those sorts of things have allowed me to develop this delusion. I've been able to live in a delusion where it's like, okay, like, babies die. That's funny. It's not fucking funny, but how else am I going to deal with it?
Right.
How else am I going to deal with it? I do know at the core of my being that I will be reunited with my son. I will be reunited with him in unfathomable ways, in better than I ever could have been here on this earth. There's no doubt in my mind. And it's just a matter of being able to wait out the clock. You know, suicide's never been an option for me. Maybe I'll transition in the future and finally cash that check, but right now,
let's see how you do in this roast battle before you say that. Like,
right.
Well, comedy is tragedy plus time. So,
right.
I mean, I think that's the only way I would be able to fathom getting through, is to lean into an alternate reality where things are funny.
Right.
You know, and that's what comedy is you're kind of creating your own reality.
Yes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
You're able to find what it is for people. And it seems like you can help others with that. Like, if you're able to find that in your own self, then just like as a ranger, you're able to teach others how to deal with this tragedy. They're about to fight a foe that they're not ready for.
Right.
But with your training and your experience, not only in the military but in life now.
Right.
As a comic, once you eventually get funny, then you'll cheers,
Man, I like what you said, because now this is kind of similar, kind of not. When my grandparents passed away, they were like my parents, and I made a lot of jokes about it and put it on the internet, and a lot of my family just hated on me for some of the things that I said. Really? And some of the jokes, like, I did to them before they died.
Yeah.
But I knew they were dying, and so I wrote those jokes, and I did to them, and they laughed. They thought it was hilarious. And a lot of people don't realize that, like, yes, there's a grieving, but I'm not being disrespectful if I find a funny angle on this and I choose to get some light out of this instead of all darkness.
Yes.
Whether it's, any death of a loved one, whether it's your spouse or your child or a parent or anybody that you're close with, like, somebody dying is tragic. Now, a kid is super tragic, but like, to be able to find something lighthearted out of that everyone can laugh at, it is a way to grieve and a way to honor them. Yes, it absolutely
is a gift.
Because if we didn't have it, we would all kill ourselves.
Right.
Like,
that is comedy is there for a reason. Like, one of the most profound movies is it's that Kubrick movie. I think it's 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure this is in that movie where they start laughing. The apes start laughing. Like, they realize. I think I may be thinking of a different movie, but like, it's like they discover laughter, and it changes everything. I may be thinking of another shitty ape documentary,
documentary.
But yeah, it's like, it's like a
ape throws shit, hits him in the face, like, oh, that's funny.
Like, they discover the tools, they laugh. I may be thinking of a different movie, but either way, like, it's very profound that, like, laughter is so reality warping.
Right.
You go from just, I'm never going to want to do this, to live life, like, I'm ready to end it, and then you find yourself laughing at something, and you're like, shit, life's not that bad.
Yeah. Oh,
Life isn't that bad.
So your question that I've danced around was, how did I make the leap from that first performance to actually doing it consistently now? I decided I want to honor my son's legacy. I want to honor my son's legacy, and he was 2. He had less than 10 words in his vocabulary when he died, and
it's a hell of a legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing, is it's my charge as his father to create that and to spread his legacy. And let me tell you, my son, he was so loving and caring and fucking just so kind. He was so kind. I just can't. That boy, he would give hugs that could only come. It felt like you were hugging God, is what it felt like. He was going through an unimaginable experience. And I've had a lot of time to think about it, and it's like, man, he was on this earth for less than 3 years, and most of his life he was in pain. He had cancer. Most of his life he was going through that, and the connections and bonds that he built with his fellow chemo patients. I was watching these warriors, these children who are true warriors that are in this hallway come down and visit him, and the way he would love on these other kids who were going through what he went through, who I can't even relate to. It's like these kids, there's this girl, Sammy, who took a liking to my son Will, and Sammy would come down. She was just an angel. She was an angel, and she would come love on him. And I just thought, this is so much bigger than me. This is so much bigger than me, and it cannot die with him. And when Will passed, a fellow ranger who was in 275, his name is Vincent Vargas, and he was on a show called Mayans MC. Are you familiar? Yeah. It's the spin-off of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
And so he was on a show called Mayans Motorcycle Club, and he paid for me to go, his organization paid for me to go to acting school So I had been acting. I'd acted in a couple commercials and things like that, and he paid for me to go to Anthony Gilardi's acting studio out in L.A. And it was a hybrid class. I did some online, some in person, and got me into performance art. And then when his organization ran out of funding, my acting coach said, look, you can still get a lot of experience and stage time and things like that. There's a lot of options. Maybe you should try stand up, like try going to a theater, those sorts of things. See if they'll cast you into a play, all of that. And comedy always had a draw to me. Had a draw to me since I met Justin on that cruise. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. And so I went to Club 509, which is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I was living there at the time. And Renaga let me go up on stage. Conrad Linsmeyer, who is he's a celebrity up in Northwest Arkansas.
I know Conrad. He's great.
Yeah. Conrad Linsmeyer, great comedian, great musician, incredible producer.
Terrible eyebrows.
Terrible eyebrows, man. He's got a joke. He says his forehead goes all the way back to his butt. That's fucking perfect, dude.
He's got alopecia. He's got no hair on his face at all.
Right. Nothing. And put me up. I did a 5-minute set. I didn't hate myself afterward, and the rest is history. I just kept going up. I've probably averaged 2 to 3 nights a week since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That's a lot.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And that's a tall ask, or a tall order to go through what you went through with your son's name was Will.
Will, yes.
To go through what you went through with Will and everything Will went through, and then once that chapter of your life has passed, and now you have to find a way to move forward to be able to say, you know what, look, he had to go through this, and I want to honor, like you said, honor his legacy.
Yes.
And to find humor in it, and to find ways to bring it out and talk. And even I know you said you don't have the dead baby jokes yet ready for the stage,
right? But
like just being able to talk about it like this, right, like in a very informal is kind of what we do here, but
right.
To be able to talk about it and let people know about not only what you went through, but what Will went through, and to be able to come out on the other side like, I still have a reason to live, I still love life, I still have something to get out of life. Like that's huge, man.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing but fucking respect for it.
Thank you.
Because that's a tall ask of any fucking dad. Like, I don't care what culture you're from, I don't care what part of the earth, I don't care when you were born. To lose a child like that and to be able to come out on the other side and not just be completely broken and crumbled. And I know you're still grieving and you're still healing, and like that's an everyday, and that'll probably be every day for the rest of your life.
I hope so.
But to let it impact you in a positive and not a negative way is a really fucking cool thing to see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And all credit to not all credit, most credit to my 9-year-old, my son Wes. He has been so strong. It was just the three of us. It was me, Will, and his brother Wes in the room, and I was playing guitar and singing for him. His favorite song that I would play for him as he went to sleep, "Hurt" by Johnny Cash, which is actually a cover of 9 Inch Nails. That was the song that I played for Will.
That's a dark song for a fucking 2-year-old. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, man, I know a lot of songs, and that was just the one that he would every night when he was just, especially after he had to get injections or if he was going through chemo, that was the tried and true, could get him to sleep.
Yeah.
And it was just the three of us in that room, and Wes being there with me watching that go down. And I mean, when I played the last chord of that song, that was when the line went flat. I mean, I played the last chord and he died. It was a goodbye. It was perfect. It couldn't have been more beautiful. And I just thought, you know, if I'm going to end my music career like that, like I literally killed. So I figured I could move on to comedy from there.
Look at that face. Your son was like, I'd rather die than listen to my dad sing any fucking more. I'll see you later.
His last words were, maybe try comedy, Dad.
It's really funny. All right, so
just kidding. He was too young to say all that.
I got a couple more questions for you before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Ross, I'm going to ask you 3 questions here.
Okay.
First of all, What is something that you absolutely love about yourself?
I love that no matter what I do, I put my children first. It's just a natural instinct. It's something that I don't know if I give credit to my family or if I give credit to my creator, but keeping my children at the forefront of my thoughts and being, even when I don't think that I have, looking back at it and being able to see like, okay, this was what was right for my children. That has been something that I'm eternally proud of. I'm very proud of the fact that being a father has always come first for me.
Hell yeah.
Very proud
You
of
should
that.
be.
Yeah.
That's very honorable.
It's a hard
right.
job to be good at it is.
Yeah. I'm also really proud that I bagged a really hot sugar mama. That was good. Yeah.
Got a cruise.
Yeah.
Now it was post-pandemic, so it was kind of cheap.
Yeah. Oh, the pickings were slim.
Cruises weren't a big, yeah. But anyway.
All right. In that same token, what is something that you hate about yourself? And hate's a strong word, and we all try to evolve to where we're not hating ourselves anymore. That's something about maturing as a person. You try to grow out of that. But what's maybe don't like? Maybe
Something you
Oh, I actually do like the phrasing. I do think that love and hate have their place.
Yeah.
I think that hate is a very effective tool that is misused a lot. I think that hate can be useful, and I think that hating parts about yourself are. I hate that I'm clumsy as fuck. I hate that I'm clumsy. I hate that all the scars on my body aren't from combat, that the Afghans didn't do shit to me. It's just walking around the house and running into furniture, running into my own
probably
furniture.
wasn't great trying to be a male stripper and be clumsy.
Right.
Like, that doesn't sound like
Well, let me
a
tell
good
you.
combination.
Yeah, like the Afghans never hurt me, but the Ottomans have really fucked me up.
fucking goddamn it. Holy shit.
All right. What's your worst habit?
Oh, I don't know that I would call it a habit, but I'm very quick to trust people. I really give myself too much credit for being able to recover from trusting people. And man, I'm a sucker, dude. I'm a sucker. I will trust anybody.
We got him, Seth.
Yeah, it's just because I think I have way too much confidence in my ability to deal with adversity because of what I've been through, that I'll trust people right off the bat. Because I'm like, what are you gonna do? Kill my kid?
Right. It's like, you're not going to put me through anything that life hasn't already put me through, so let's fucking go.
Right. Yeah.
Get in my van.
I think that my worst habit is being generous when I have no money.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's
Yeah.
a bad habit.
That is a bad habit.
Yep.
That's very bad.
And we always ask every comedian this when they come on. But Ross, what is your most bigoted opinion?
My most bigoted opinion. So I would say that anytime someone expresses a political opinion, like I hate Donald Trump or I hate Kamala Harris, I think they're the biggest fucking morons on the planet. My most bigoted opinion is if you have that strong of an opinion towards somebody on either political side, you're a fucking moron, because that means you've bought into whatever slander, libel that they've put out about these people. You're a sucker. You're a fucking sucker, because like all it is just smoke and mirrors. And once you've been on this side of the camera on multi-million-dollar productions, you start to realize that it's all a show. It's all a show. Like politics is just all a show, and it's how bad can we make this person look? And if you really do hate Trump or you really do hate Kamala, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot, because you have no idea who's actually pulling the strings. There's teams of people who are running these people, and yes, maybe they are very dislikable people, but you've never met them.
I hate them both. I'm so stupid.
Yeah. My most bigoted opinion is just people who think that hate can be slung around like it's
Right.
like it's nothing, like
Hate,
it's
yeah.
not. And you completely discredit yourself as a human being.
Would you prefer people to be like, ooh, I dislike them, or even just the idea, even them just buying into not liking or choosing a side? Is that what you hate more, or do you just hate the phrasing of "I hate," the hating? Does that question make sense?
Well, I
Is
guess
it more that they are choosing particular person to not like they're like you said, they're buying into the propaganda
Right.
of one side, whether or is it that they are choosing to not hold, they're using the word hate without understanding the gravity of the word.
It's more. It's deeper than that to me. It really is. You are like they are not buying into what America truly is. America is not based on hate. It is based on inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
It is based on moving forward together, united.
So when even though like you don't have a problem with them choosing a side, but when they actively hate the other side, when they think that like when they actively are choosing the emotion to fucking hate somebody,
right.
then they are not doing politics right. They're like, it's okay.
Oh, they're doing politics right. That's the thing.
It's okay to like not agree with someone. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to fucking hate them.
Right.
Also,
now you can hate someone if you've met them, if like they've done something against you or said something that's upset you, and then you confront them, and then they double down.
But someone you're never gonna meet.
Right. Someone you've never met, someone who you've heard sound bites of them in perfect order and taken out different parts of it, like with Donald Trump and the whole there were good people on both sides quote. God fucking shoot me in the fucking head with that quote, because he could have picked way better words, but he went on to explain himself, and it was like, okay, that was a dumb thing to say. His explanation makes it make sense. I wish they hadn't done the whole bit at all. Like, it was just dumb.
So it sounds
and then
to
people
me,
really have gotten to the point where they've completely shuttered themselves in and said, I can't believe our president's a Nazi. And it's like, are you really going to say our country, the last bastion of freedom in the world, who so many dedicated men and women have given their lives for it, you really think it's run by a literal Nazi? That's fucking stupid. Like, that's fucking stupid. It's just, I guess maybe it's just, I really have a problem with small-minded people, maybe.
It sounds like you're, like, what you take issue with is people buying the propaganda bullshit from either side.
Yes.
Like, because when you see people and they buy in hook, line, and sinker of whatever side, and they get all the merch, and they go to the rallies, and they're chanting and doing all, it's like you're retarded.
Well, I don't have a problem with the support. I think that if people are positively supporting a candidate, good for you. You've got something, you've got purpose.
Okay.
And I think that even if you disagree with 99% of someone's policies, maybe one of their policies is something that really does advance something positive in our society. Great. I'm all in favor of that. But if you let hate get into that, you're getting in your own way. And I think that it's one of those things where the more we see people in our society backing hate, saying, I hate this person, you are creating more and more monsters. You're going, like, people are like, how do we end up with candidates like Trump and Biden and Harris and all these people? How do we end up with these candidates? It's because they're going to keep putting forward candidates that are fun to hate. It's fun to hate them for society. And if we just stop giving into that, if our society said, you know what, we're going to keep our mouths shut about what we don't like, and we're going to support what we do like, I think we'll start seeing more quality candidates.
That's where my opinion, I think we should quit telling people who we're going to vote for. We should quit openly, like, now I get there's something to like show like how many numbers, like if you've got a movement, you're like, we want to show solidarity, we're all with this movement. I get that 100%. Right. But like in our society, if you sit down and like, let's say you support Trump and I support Harris, and we sit down and find that out about each other, in a lot of situations it's like, well, you're not my people, I'm gonna go over here, and I'm not your people, I'm gonna go over here, and we cut off all communication about most things. Whereas if I didn't know who you were voting for, you didn't know who I was voting for, and we just let that shit be private in the voting booth, and then we interact respectfully and peacefully in society, we could come together on a lot of fucking shit.
Absolutely. I'm all in favor of an Olive Garden America. Like, if you're here, you're family. That's what it is. I believe in America. I put my life on the line for America. I killed people for America. I sold my soul. I truly believe in the idea of America, and I just don't think that hate has a place in it. I don't think that we're a leader in the world if we allow ourselves to devolve into a hatred society. It is not healthy. It breeds nothing but disaster.
That's a beautiful message.
It's not very bigoted.
Right, and it doesn't leave a lot of room for
It's
comedy.
not very bigoted.
I mean, that's why I did choose comedy. Now, as much as I'm saying, like, this may be a Warren Buffett kind of thing to say. Like, I'm all for. I see the trend. I see it. I know how to predict things. But I really do believe in America. I think that we should be on the upswing, but I see the trajectory and I know the way we're going. And that's why I got into comedy, because the more tragedy there is, the more hatred there is, the more room there is to be funny.
Yeah,
There's a lot of material.
Yeah, it's a lot of material.
There's a lot of material out there right now.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and doing the show, Ross. Really appreciate you. Can't wait for the roast battle on October 28th at the Looney Bin. Get your tickets now.
Yes. Be there.
Go to Facebook, type in Partially Cooked Podcast. You'll see the event. It's got a ticket link. You can buy tickets there.
I'm sure we'll have something in the
Oh yeah, go to the.
Yep.
Just look in the description of this episode, and you'll see a link to the show.
Absolutely.
Come watch Ross.
Yep.
Kill it at the roast battle. Hope you do great. I hate that you're not going to get the belt because I'm going to keep it, but
gotta defend it. He's got to defend it.
I got to.
Oh, there's plenty of Duck Dynasty jokes out the wazoo.
Look like Cuck Dynasty, but yeah, I've heard it all before. Let's fucking go.
No, I'm actually into that kind of porn, so it's not, I don't want to get hard on stage.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Seth, do you have any shows you'd like to hype up before we get out of here?
Let's see. This Friday we are. I got Stetson Banks coming down from Fayetteville
For Point Remove, right?
Point Remove.
Fuck yeah, that's a fun show, man.
Nice.
12th.
Hell yeah. If you're in the Morrilton area or can get to Morrilton, come out to that fucking show. Point Remove is a dope venue. They do the show upstairs, and it's a fucking blast. I love that room.
We're going to do some like pizza specials that night, I think, too. So it's going to be great. But we call it the Comedy Draft House up there. It's pretty rare, but it pops up every once in a while.
That's what's up, man.
That's going to be a good time.
Hell yeah, it's going to be fun. And then I'm on... I think one of JJ Molinaro's next show. I think it's the 26th. We're doing Comedy at the Max October 25th.
Okay.
We've got Shauna Blake from Tulsa coming in.
She's hilarious.
Nick Farrell from Fayetteville's coming in.
Nick Farrell.
He's
Great comedian.
He runs 509 now.
Yep. He runs 509. He was on Kill Tony. Nick Farrell's a great comedian.
He did Kill Tony. He killed it.
Yep.
He's going to come in, and Shauna Blake's from Tulsa. That's the 25th, and then the 26th, and then the 2nd, we are at the Public Theater.
Fuck yeah, we're going to be at the Public Theater here in Little Rock. I'll also put a link to that ticket link in the description as well.
Yeah.
If you're interested in coming out and seeing me, Seth, and Alexi do a little bit of stand-up.
Yeah, that one's
I'll tell you what,
be...
Alexi did a great job at that roast.
Hell yeah, he did.
Alexi killed it. He was so mad too. I love Alexi. He's so catty.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he was like, he's still texting me to this day. Dude, fucking Brandon did like 3 jokes per fucking one, dude. I'm sick of this, man. Like, Alexi, dude, take a deep breath.
Let me tell you, your Donald Trump is a 10 out of 10, and your Alexi is...
Scottish.
Yeah, Scottish, dude.
Dude, brother, what is unsafe?
Ross, do you have any shows you'd like to hype up before we get out of here?
Look, the October 28th, the roast battle. I haven't been able to book a lot of shows lately. I've got some other things going on professionally. So I will say you can check me out. I'm not on HBO anymore, but Finding Magic Mike is streaming on a couple different platforms. Feel free to watch
we didn't
it.
even talk about that. Jesus
Bro,
Christ.
we'll have to have him back.
Yeah, we gotta have you back.
I would love to.
Yeah.
You'll be back within the next few months.
Okay.
We didn't even scratch the Ross service. We didn't even talk about how you dress for less. You know what I mean? Like there's
I know.
so much about Ross that we didn't even talk about.
So many savings that these people are missing out on.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll have you back, man. Honestly, this is a funny, emotional, and special episode. So thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
I'm so grateful. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on the win, by the way.
Thanks, buddy. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Love you, gentlemen.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Later.
I have to pee.